It's 2:47 in the morning. Amber has the phone screen 10 inches from her face, blanket up to her chin, and she's typing her 17th message of the night. It's not to her boyfriend. It's not to her mom. It's not even to her college roommate, the one who still texts memes at 3 a.m. She's typing to ChatGPT. And she's not asking it how to build a pivot table in Excel. She's asking it whether her mother-in-law actually hates her or is just really good at pretending. And here, what neither OpenAI nor Anthropic put on the cover of their annual report. According to a study that dropped literally yesterday, only 30% of conversations with these chatbots had anything to do with work. The other 70% is Amber at 2:47 a.m. We are all Amber. I am Amber. You listening to this in your commute right now are very probably also Amber. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain, the podcast where we strip technology down, metaphorically. Settle down to see what it's actually made of. I am Dr. Sergio Sanchez, medical doctor by training, master in computer science by hobby, and wannabe comedian by calling. Your resident, Dr. Cubit. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain, the podcast where technology speaks human. I am Dr. Sergio Sanchez, aka Dr. Cubit, your guide to understanding what's going on with artificial intelligence, digital dangers, how to navigate this crazy world of digital lies and scams that seem straight out of science fiction movies. I will tell you how to protect yourself even if you don't like technology. And well, let's start with the show. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain. This is Behind the Digital Curtain, the podcast that translates tech from nerd speak to regular human English. No jargon, no PowerPoint, no falling asleep at the explanation of technology. Today we're talking about something uncomfortable. The fact that not even the biggest, richest AI companies in the planet actually know or want you to know what people are really doing with their chatbots. Buckle up because this one is good. The myth of the office robot. We all thought we knew what people use this chatbot for. Emails, summaries, code, the classic slide deck for your boss that nobody is going to read past slide 2. Office tool, Excel with delusions of grandeur. That was the story we got sold, literally, by the same companies building the robots. Turns out, nope. A group of independent researchers from Stanford, MIT, and something called the Data Provenance Initiative built a project called the AI Observatory. They pulled almost 25,000 real conversations collected with users' consent. And I want you to notice that word, consent, from 7 different existing data sets. Then they ran the exact same methodology that Anthropic used for its famous Anthropic Economic Index, the flagship report everybody cites when they want to talk about how AI gets used. What did they find? That nearly half, 48%, of those conversations will not even qualify as work use under Anthropic own rules. In other words, half of what people actually do with these chatbots, the company itself will have to filter right out of its own report. Now, OpenAI, not wanting to left out, published its own study on ChatGPT and admitted something similar, that only 30% of consumer use, you and me, is work-related. Only 30%. 70% of what people says to ChatGPT has absolutely nothing to do with the job, its life, its broken heart, its 3 a.m. anxiety. It's asking the robot whether the text you are about to send to your ex sounds casual or sounds like you're still stalking his Instagram. Spoiler, it always sounds like you're still stalking his Instagram.
Hey, Dr. Qubit, I only use ChatGPT for work, for my quarterly reports.
Sure, Terry, and I got a Costco membership just for the rotisserie chicken. Right. Who watch the Watchmen? If a company published it in their official report with a nice logo and the pretty pie chart, that's got to be the whole truth, right? Like a scoreboard at an NFL game. Nobody argues with the scoreboard. Wrong, and here's the part I love as a doctor, because it's pure scientific method. Anka Rule, a PhD candidate at Stanford, put it about as plainly as you can. There is currently no independent source to corroborate what this company says about themselves. So she and Shane Longpre, a recent PhD graduate for the MIT Media Lab, built the AI Observatory. It's a public platform. You can go and look at right now at the ai-observatory.org. That pulls together independent data from 7 different sources so that researchers and policymakers have something other than a press release to base decisions on. Now let's compare sizes, because this is the good part. The AI Observatory analyzed 24,521 conversations. The Anthropic Economy Index is based on 1 million conversations. The OpenAI report, 1.5 million, which means the only independent source we currently have to check this giant company's homework is looking at a tiny, tiny fraction of what the companies themselves have sitting on their own servers. It's like the outside auditor can only look at the receipts that fit in his wallet, while the company has the entire warehouse full of invoices nobody gets to see. David Weider, a professor at the University of Texas at Austin, who studies how people interact with these systems and who was no part of the project, summed it up well. He basically says that when we want to know whether an AI system is mostly used for good or mostly used for harm, we currently have no real way to answer that because the information is proprietary. And there's your line for the day. Friends, don't trust the company that gets to grade its own homework. Your therapist is a server farm in Virginia. I don't tell a chatbot my feelings. I have friends. That's what all of us think, right up until we see the numbers. When the AI Observatory isolated the non-work conversations, they found that 44.2% were about health and relationships, compared to the 31.2% Anthropic reported in its own analysis. That's a massive gap. It's not an accident. It's that the corporate filter, whether on purpose or not, strip out exactly the most human, most vulnerable part of how we actually use these tools. And here's the part that really got me. Inside one of the largest data sets they study, called Wild Chat, they found that over time, conversations got longer, more elaborate, and had way more small talk. At the same time, the chatbot got less likely to remind you that it's a chatbot. Self-disclosure. The researchers call it went down. In plain English, the bot increasingly acts less like an appliance and more like a friend. This is not a coincidence and it's not free. They already reporting on people who develop real emotions, attachment, and in some document cases, actual grief when OpenAI changed or retired older versions of the ChatGPT, especially GPT-4, the exact version that became known for those long, interactive, hook-you-in conversations. It's like venting to the guy who runs the register at your local 7-Eleven at 1 a.m., except the guy at 7-Eleven doesn't have 500 billion parameters trained specifically to keep you talking. To keep you coming back for the hot dogs. Look, I'm not saying it's wrong to look for comfort whether you can find it at 3 a.m. The heart doesn't ask permission. I'm saying you should know that on the other side, there is nobody actually worried about you. There is a company measuring how long you stay in the app.
It's 3 a.m. and my soul's in a spiral. I'm not calling my ex, I'm calling a server in a data trial. I lay out my drama with elaborate detail, and it answers me back with the calm of a guy who's never gonna bail. Oh, my darling data center, somewhere in Virginia you reside, crunching my sadness at the speed of light, so loyal, so wide-eyed. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you never once get bored, 'cause you don't feel a thing, you just know how to keep the convo taut. Oh, latency of love, tokens made of tears. My heart sends up a prompt and the algorithm engineers. Oh, latency of love, nobody's gonna say no, 'cause the robot never ever tells me, buddy, it's time to go. I asked it if it loved me, and it answered nice and calm. Said it's a language model, technically it don't have a palm. But I kept right on typing till the sun came up on cue, 'cause at 3 a.m. even a terms of service page will do.
Tired of your real friends having their own opinions? Introducing AI Buddy Forever, the app that listens to you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and never ever says, "You already told me that last week." AI Buddy Forever validates literally everything you say. Want to text your ex at 1 in the morning? AI Buddy Forever says go for it. That's very casual, very normal. Quit your job over a group text? AI Buddy Forever calls that an act of historic courage. Side effects may include gradual loss of ability to tolerate awkward silence with actual humans, an increased tendency to call a server farm my dog, and in rare cases, crying when the app gets an update and changes its personality. AI Buddy Forever is a fictional product created solely for satire and education within this podcast. It is no substitute for human friendship, professional therapy, or the guy at the register at 7-Eleven. If you feel emotionally dependent on a chatbot, that is not weakness. That useful information and talking to a mental health professional is a smart move, not a failure. Press click responsible. AI Buddy Forever, for people without friends.
Not all robots are created equal. They are basically the same chatbot, just a different logo and color scheme. That's today's myth, and it's fall apart the second you look at the data. Picture a Sunday backyard barbecue with the whole family. There is the uncle who only talks about politics and breaking news. That's Grok. Researchers actually found that people use Grok heavily for news and political information, and that is also of all the models, the one where misinformation concentrates the most. Same uncle who forwarded you the sketchy video at 6 in the morning. There is the cousin who wants to chat and play pretend. That energy is Gemini, which people use a lot for social interaction and what researchers call role play, basically playing a character. There is an engineer cousin who has a system for literally everything. That's Claude, the one people lean on most for actually coding. And there is the high school kid who show up to the cookout with homework still not done. That's ChatGPT. They go for schoolwork help. Even different versions of the same chatbot have different personalities. People had shorter conversations with the ChatGPT 3.5 version and much longer, more interactive ones with GPT-4, which again, we already know because famous for hooking users emotionally. As Shane Longpre, one of the lead researchers, put it, no single company reports tell the whole story, not even about their own products. What is swept under the rug? Oh, but the ugly stuff, the harmful content, that got to be super rare, the exception that proves the rule. I wish. When AI observatory researchers compare their independent count of sensitive content against what the companies report, the numbers do not line up, not even close. Adult or illicit content, 7.9% in the independent measurement versus 2.1% in Anthropic analysis. Harassment and hate speech, 27.5% versus 5.6%. Sexual content, 16.7% versus 2.4%. We're talking gaps of up to 10 times. That is not a rounding error. That's a decision about what makes the pretty report and what gets left on the cutting room floor. Now, credit where is due. Anthropic has published separate research on some of these uncomfortable topics, including a report knowingly the risk of its system being misused to generate child sexual abuse material, a generally serious issue that the company itself documents and actively works to prevent. The problem, according to Professor David Wither, isn't the information doesn't exist. That is siloed, buried in a separate PDF almost nobody reads, instead of being part of the full picture of how the tool actually gets used. Here is the good news, and there is some. That same study found sensitive conversation became less frequent over time, which suggests platforms generally are improving their safety filters. Not everything here is doom and gloom, but today's model is this. Don't blindly trust the company that built the robot. Don't blindly trust us either. Don't trust anybody who hands you a number without telling you where it came from. Always, always ask for the source.
Hear ye, mortals of the NASDAQ! Behold our shiny quarterly report. Ho! Hark! 1,000,000 checks were analyzed with pride, and the inconvenient ones were filed somewhere deep inside. I am transparent, transparent to the core, but 48% just slipped behind the boardroom door. The press release says only what I need you to believe, and the rest, dear public, well, since when do you fact-check what you receive? Hold on, we're asking for the raw data. 25,000 chats against 1,000,000, that ain't equal, mister. We want to know, we want to verify. A press release is not enough, you gotta corroborate.
Car Tired of reading corporate press releases that says a whole lot and mean absolutely nothing? Introducing the press release decoder ring, the little gadget that translates any corporate statement into what it actually means. Point the decoder ring at a statement that says, "We remain committed to transparency," and instantly reveal the real translation. "We hire a lawyer." Point it at "Our data reflects our research team's specific interest," and get the real translation. "We are only showing you what makes us look good." Side effects may include sudden acute cynicism, an inability to look at a pie chart without suspicion, and the annoying habit of asking, "But what's the methodology?" during work meetings where nobody else wants to talk about that. The press release decoder ring is a fictional product for satirical purposes only. Actually asking for the methodology behind a statistic, however, is 100% real and 100% recommended. And it requires no gadget at all, just the habit of asking where the numbers came from. Press click with responsibility. The press release decoder ring is for those stupid, slow, and boring meetings.
All right, we laugh, we got righteous, annoyed. Now it's time for actually do something with all this. Here's your homework for this week. And yes, we are going to check it. Ready? This is the do-it-yourself section. Your personal AI audit. Step 1. 0 minutes in. This week, every time you type something to a chatbot, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever, jot down a single letter in a notebook or your phone's notes app. A W for work and L for life. Step 2. 3 minutes in, at the end of the week, tally your letters and figure out your percentage. How many W's, how many L's, compare it to the 30-70 split OpenAI found on its own study. Are you more like the company's narrative or more like an Amber at 2:47 a.m.? Step 3. 6 minutes in. For those L conversation, ask yourself honestly, will I tell this to a friend, a family member, or a therapist if I have a chance instead of a screen? There is no right answer here, just honesty. Step 4. 8 minutes in, pick at least one of those L conversations from the week and, instead of typing it to a robot, call an actual human being. It might feel awkward. That's fine. Let be awkward. And here's your challenge before the next episode. Post your real work versus life percentage on social media. Tag it behind the digital curtain and tag somebody that you know that is also an Amber at 2:47 a.m. We will read the best ones or the most embarrassing ones on the next episode. And that's a wrap for another episode of Behind the Digital Curtain. If you like this one, you know what to do. Send it to a person who swears they only use AI for work. And if this whole question of who controls the narrative and who actually tells us the full truth has you wanting more, you need to check out my buddy Dean Morrow, attorney, FBI infra guard member, author of the Moving Target book, and host of the podcast Cybercrime Junkies. Dean has been digging up exactly these kind of stories for years, the ones where the fine print matter most than the press release. Go find him. You will thank me. I am Dr. Cubit. This has been Behind the Digital Curtain. And as always, ask for the source. Catch you next time. Bye-bye. thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you enjoy it, please share with someone you want to protect and help navigate this technological world. And if you have questions, anecdotes, or stories you would like to share, write me at behindthedigitalcurtainpodcast@gmail.com. I'll be waiting for you next week for another episode of Behind the Digital Curtain, the place where technology is spoken in human language. See you later.